There are truths about Sigma males that most people never hear. They are whispered in private conversations, written between the lines of psychology studies, and noticed only by those who pay close attention to human behavior. And perhaps it is better this way, because once you learn these truths, you cannot unsee them. Sigma males have long been misunderstood. To many, they seem like lone wolves, men who live outside the usual hierarchy, neither chasing dominance like the alpha nor blending quietly like the beta. But what most people don't realize is that Sigma males carry within them a different kind of power, one that is often hidden. It is not loud, not boastful, but it shapes the way people feel around them. This knowledge is considered forbidden for one reason. It reveals the silent mechanics of influence. It shows why some men, without trying, attract respect, curiosity, and even loyalty. Women notice it without knowing why. Men sense it, and often feel challenged by it. And society, whether it wants to or not, cannot ignore it. The danger lies in misunderstanding this, because if a man tries to fake these traits, he will appear strange, forced, and unbalanced. But if he genuinely possesses them, the world responds differently. Today we will look at 6 of these lesser-known truths about Sigma males. They are not glamorous, they are not simple, but they reveal why Sigma men live as they do, why they cannot be easily controlled, and why they often find themselves walking paths no one else dares to. So listen carefully, not with the ears of someone searching for tricks or tactics, but with the quiet focus of someone who seeks wisdom. Because once you know these truths, you may begin to see the Sigma male not as a mystery, but as a mirror, reflecting what is possible when a man walks his own way. Number 1, the power of absence. Most men are taught to believe that influence comes from visibility, being the loudest in the room, the one who shows up everywhere, the name that people cannot escape. In politics, business, and even social circles, constant presence is seen as a way to gain power. Yet history and psychology reveal a very different truth. Sometimes absence carries far more weight than presence. This is a principle Sigma males understand instinctively. They recognize that mystery, distance, and silence often hold greater sway over people than noise and constant activity. In psychology, this is linked to the concept of scarcity value. The less something is available, the more people desire it. This is why rare gems are prized, why limited editions sell out instantly, and why the people who do not make themselves easily accessible are often the ones others cannot stop thinking about. Sigma males embody this principle without even trying. Their silence is not a lack of words, but a different form of communication, one that leaves space for curiosity to grow. The human mind naturally fills gaps with imagination, and when someone is absent, we tend to exaggerate their importance, wondering what they might be doing, why they are quiet, or what they know that we do not. History provides striking examples of this. Leaders like George Washington, who famously avoided speaking more than necessary, commanded deep respect precisely because his words were rare. Philosophers like Lao Tzu emphasized that true power often lies in restraint rather than constant display. Even in modern times, studies in social dynamics confirm that people who manage their availability carefully are perceived as more valuable, whether in business negotiations, personal relationships, or public influence. This is not arrogance, it is strategy. By stepping back, they allow others to lean in. For Sigma males, silence is not emptiness, but presence in another form. Their absence is not neglect, but deliberate space. It makes others curious, draws attention without effort, and creates influence that is not built on volume but on resonance. Unlike those who demand to be seen, Sigma males let the world notice their absence, and in doing so, they prove a timeless truth. Sometimes the loudest message is the one delivered without a single word. Number 2, their emotional economy. Sigma males are often described as men who treat their emotions with the same precision that an investor treats money. They do not pour them out recklessly, nor do they waste them on situations that add no value to their lives. Instead, they spend emotions sparingly, like currency, investing only in what matters most. This calculated approach is not coldness. Rather, it is a refined sense of control. Unlike many who respond instantly with anger, excitement, or despair, Sigma males pause, reflect, and decide whether an emotional reaction is worth the energy. In psychology, this is linked to high emotional regulation, a skill associated with stronger resilience, clearer thinking, and lower stress levels. While others burn themselves out by reacting to every slight, Sigma males conserve their emotional energy, channeling it into pursuits that align with their values. This calmness often unsettles others. In social dynamics, people expect quick emotional feedback. Smiles for approval, frowns for disapproval, outbursts to show passion. When a Sigma male withholds that expected reaction, it creates a mystery that can feel unnerving. Research in social psychology shows that humans often rely on emotional mirroring to connect. When that mirror is absent, people feel off balance. A Sigma's lack of instant emotional display can therefore come across as intimidating, even when it isn't intended to be. This explains why many describe Sigma males as enigmatic or unreadable. Their emotional economy leaves others guessing, and guesswork naturally breeds fascination or discomfort. What makes this trait particularly powerful is its impact on relationships and decision-making. In business, for example, studies show that leaders who regulate their emotions make better long-term decisions because they are less swayed by temporary moods or pressure. Sigma males apply this principle almost instinctively, ensuring that choices are not driven by fleeting feelings, but by deeper conviction. In personal life, this same emotional restraint protects them from manipulation. A person who does not react easily cannot be baited or provoked, making the Sigma male appear unshakable, almost like a fortress. For those seeking control over their lives, this is a lesson worth studying. Emotions are powerful tools, but only when used deliberately. Ultimately, the Sigma male's approach to emotion is less about suppression and more about mastery. They do feel deeply, but they understand that not every moment deserves an emotional investment. By choosing carefully when and where to spend their emotional currency, they preserve their energy, maintain their independence, and keep others guessing. It is this rare balance of feeling without being ruled by feelings that sets them apart and explains why their presence is often both admired and misunderstood. Number 3, the social mirror effect. Around Sigma males, people often reveal more than they intend. It's not because these men pry or ask endless questions, but rather because their presence creates an unusual kind of silence, one that feels both safe and unsettling at the same time. Their quiet listening, paired with a detached gaze, acts like a mirror. Psychologists often describe this effect as projection, when individuals unconsciously transfer their own thoughts, fears, and feelings onto someone else. In the case of sigma males, people project because the sigma doesn't interrupt or impose his own narrative. He becomes a blank canvas where others paint their inner world. This is why strangers might confess things to them that they wouldn't dare share with close friends. The sigma's aloof nature lowers defenses. Research in social psychology shows that people tend to open up more when they feel they are not being judged. A sigma's detached, neutral energy offers that exact environment. Unlike the alpha, who dominates conversations, or the beta, who often seeks approval, the sigma male listens without the need to validate or reject. This silence is powerful. It compels people to fill it, often with their most vulnerable truths. There's also a biological explanation. Neuroscientists studying human communication note that prolonged eye contact, mixed with minimal verbal response, can activate deeper areas of the brain related to self-awareness. In other words, when someone talks to a sigma, they're not just talking to him, they're talking to themselves, with the sigma acting as the trigger. It feels therapeutic, almost like speaking to a counselor who knows the value of silence more than the weight of words. But there's another layer. Because sigma males are naturally observant, they notice details others miss. Tone changes, hesitations, or contradictions in speech. They don't need to speak much. Their awareness alone makes people sense that nothing can be hidden. This subtle pressure encourages truth-telling, as if the other person's subconscious realizes, I might as well be honest. He already knows. In storytelling, this archetype has existed for centuries. The wise wanderer, the lone monk, the mysterious stranger at the edge of town. These figures draw out secrets not by asking, but by... In real life, sigma males inherit that same archetypal role. They are often misunderstood as cold or distant, but in reality, their detachment creates a rare kind of intimacy, the kind where hidden confessions naturally rise to the surface. So, when people spill their secrets around a sigma, it's not by accident. It's a psychological and emotional response to a man who doesn't demand attention, but instead offers silence, presence, and a mirror to the soul. And that perhaps is one of the quiet powers that makes sigma males so enigmatic. Number 4, freedom over status. While many people spend their lives climbing ladders, chasing promotions, awards, titles, or even the validation of others, sigma males often step off that ladder entirely. They do not reject ambition, but their ambition is shaped differently. Rather than being fueled by external validation, they are driven by a deep desire for freedom. This makes them appear mysterious, even confusing, because society is built on recognition. We celebrate medals, ranks, and public applause. But the sigma looks at those rewards and quietly asks, at what cost? Psychologists describe this mindset as intrinsic motivation, where an individual acts from inner values rather than external pressure. For many sigma males, this intrinsic motivation is linked to autonomy, the belief that one's life should be self-directed. Research in behavioral science, particularly the work of Edward Dacey and Richard Ryan on self-determination theory, shows that autonomy is one of the 3 basic psychological needs for human well-being, alongside competence and relatedness. But while most people still lean heavily on approval from peers or authority figures, sigmas lean almost entirely on autonomy. Their compass points inward, not outward. This is why their decisions often puzzle others. For instance, a sigma male might turn down a high-paying job if it threatens his independence, or avoid social circles that come with too many expectations. To outsiders, this can look like rebellion or even foolishness. but in reality, it is a deliberate choice. Freedom, for the Sigma, is not simply about avoiding rules, it is about creating a life where his time, thoughts, and identity are his own. The Roman Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Sigmas embody this truth, valuing mastery of self over mastery of others. Of course, such a path does not come without cost. Choosing freedom often means sacrificing recognition. Sigma males are rarely the center of the spotlight. They do not crave it. But what they lose in attention, they gain in clarity. They live lives less entangled in competition, comparison, and social approval. Studies on well-being suggest that individuals less concerned with status are often more resilient to stress and better able to maintain long-term satisfaction. In the end, the Sigma male's secret is not that he lacks ambition, it is that he measures success differently. While many run the race for visibility, he finds strength in invisibility. He would rather remain free in the shadows than be celebrated in chains. And perhaps that is why people find him so hard to understand, because he is running a race that only he can see, one where the finish line is not recognition, but true independence. Number 5, the paradox of attraction. Women are drawn to Sigma males not because they chase them, but precisely because they don't. In human psychology, attraction often thrives on a principle known as scarcity value. People desire what feels rare, difficult to obtain, or self-sufficient. Sigma males embody this principle effortlessly. Unlike traditional social archetypes who may seek validation through attention or approval, the Sigma male moves quietly and independently, creating a magnetic field around him. His lack of need for external validation signals strength, and that strength often reads as both mysterious and irresistible. From an evolutionary perspective, this magnetism can be understood in terms of what women subconsciously seek in a partner: stability, confidence, and resourcefulness. A man who does not desperately chase, who demonstrates emotional self-control, and who appears content within himself, suggests he can handle life's challenges without crumbling under pressure. This is attractive not because it is performed, but because it speaks to survival instincts deeply embedded in human psychology. Studies in evolutionary psychology show that individuals are more drawn to partners who project independence and competence, as these traits historically increase chances of security and protection. But this attraction goes beyond biology. Culturally, we live in an age where overexposure is common. Social media rewards oversharing and attention-seeking, making quiet confidence an anomaly. A Sigma male's refusal to perform for others, to flaunt or constantly advertise himself, sets him apart in a world where noise is constant. This contrast makes him stand out. Women sense that he is not competing for approval, and paradoxically, that creates more curiosity about him. The mystery becomes the magnet. There's also a psychological concept called the paradox of choice. In a world with endless options, the one who doesn't demand to be chosen often becomes the most intriguing option of all. Sigma males, by not trying to prove themselves, unintentionally raise their value. Their self-sufficiency communicates, "I am complete as I am. You can join my world, but I don't need you to validate it." That kind of completeness is not only rare, but deeply alluring. At the heart of it, attraction to a Sigma male is not about what he does, but about what he doesn't do. He doesn't beg, he doesn't chase, and he doesn't shapeshift for approval. Instead, he embodies a truth echoed throughout psychology and philosophy. The greatest power lies not in needing, but in being whole. And wholeness, more than anything else, is the subtle force that draws others in. Number 6, their hidden discipline. To the outside world, Sigma males may seem detached, as though they're drifting through life without attachment to people or routines. But appearances can be deceiving. Beneath that calm and sometimes distant exterior lies a remarkable core of self-discipline. Their solitude is not a symptom of laziness or disinterest. It is the workshop where their mind, body, and spirit are sharpened. Unlike the extroverted personalities who gain energy from constant interaction, Sigma males often choose to step back from the noise of the world. This isn't withdrawal, but rather a conscious investment in their growth, much like ancient monks who embrace silence to find clarity. Modern psychology tells us that solitude can improve focus, creativity, and emotional regulation. A study from the University of Buffalo even suggests that those who embrace positive solitude often show higher levels of self-reflection and life satisfaction. Sigma males instinctively tap into this truth. Their quiet time is rarely wasted. It is filled with routines that look simple from the outside but serve a deeper purpose. Many follow strict fitness regimens, practice mental disciplines like journaling or meditation, and immerse themselves in learning, whether through books, experiences, or problem solving in their chosen fields. This creates a foundation of self-reliance that allows them to thrive without needing external validation. What often looks like detachment is actually the discipline of choosing long-term rewards over short-term distractions. History gives us countless parallels. Think of Nikola Tesla, who often preferred solitude to refine his groundbreaking ideas, or philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, who retreated inward to cultivate resilience and wisdom. Sigma males embody this same principle in a modern context. They may not seek the spotlight, but their inner world is rich, organized, and purposeful. In fact, their independence often makes them appear mysterious because the world isn't used to people who can stand firmly on their own. So while others may interpret their silence as disinterest, the truth is that it is within these quiet hours that Sigma males craft themselves into who they are. Their solitude is not a retreat from life, but a disciplined practice of becoming sharper, wiser, and stronger. In a society that glorifies noise, their stillness becomes their greatest strength. And this is why many call this forbidden knowledge, because once you see these truths, you begin to realize how rare they are and why Sigma males cannot be easily understood, only observed.